What is up, Tetsuki Shoguns? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode, we are starting the manga, Mobile War History, Gundam Burai. This takes place in a new universe during Tempo Jidai, a real period in Japan which spanned from 1830 to 1844, during Emperor Ninko's reign. But this universe has robots. We will follow Kisaragi Kotetsu, who is trying to help restore the Amahodo clan. He rides his old master's Tetsuki, a humanoid machine, called Gundam Burai. Let's not waste any time and let's get into this. It is the 31st year of the Tempo era. Warfare is fought using the Tetsuki, or Iron Machine. These are under control of the Tokugo Shogunate. Two Tetsukis fight, trying to behead one another. The winner is granted whatever they desire. A martial arts Tetsuki competition is held every few years. This is an era of peace, and it seems the Tetsuki seems to be the reason for this. There are two people in this world, those who take and those who are taken from. A woman is being chased by a Rokudo. The Rokudo is the Tokugo clan's mass-produced Tetsuki. I say mass-produced, but being before the age of mechanical reproduction, it is closer to upcycling and copying by hand. This is manufactured by a Bisu of the Tide. These are easy to ride and can be easily modified. Its weapon is a short sword and an axe. The woman is saved by a cloaked Tetsuki, Kuriyama Village. A Rokudo's head is on a pike in the city for the citizens to see. This isn't the first time this has happened. The woman wakes up in a home. Her wounds have been treated. A man enters, so naturally, she punches him in the face. The woman is Susano. She is a Tetsuki blacksmith. The man is Kisaragi Kotetsu, a wandering samurai, better known as a ronin. Susano blacked out after she was attacked and doesn't remember too much. It's weird that a Tetsuki would attack a person, Kotetsu thinks. This area is controlled by the Kikai-gumi. Gumi is gang or squad in Japanese. Kikai means machine. This area was taken over a few years back. The Kikai-gumi acts as the thugs for the ruling class. There are rumors of one Tetsuki hunting down the Rokudos. People are starting to treat him as a god, similar to what local Shintoists worship. Three samurai from Kikai-gumi are looking for Susano. Kotetsu tells the samurai to take the three to their leader. The three draw their swords. Kotetsu takes them out without even drawing his sword. A real samurai doesn't draw his sword unless they intend to kill. He could tell these men are amateurs. He takes Susano to Yasao Kozan Oichi village, where the Tetsuki blacksmith workshop is located. They raided the place of their rice and goyokin. Goyokin is a tax forced onto the merchant from the clan which runs the area. That's taxation without representation. They tried to ward them off with an ashigaru. The ashigaru is a Tetsuki made according to the standards of the Tokugo family. After the Battle of Shikigahara, this Tetsuki is used mainly for construction and transportation. Tools include a pickaxe and a shovel. The blacksmith workshop is attacked. It is Doryo, Jaizetsu, and a Rokudo. They demand they hand over the Tetsuki in their possession. They take Susano hostage until they give him the Tetsuki. Her father, Dogen, is stubborn and doesn't want to give in to their demands. He will use the ashigaru to fight them, but Kotetsu says that he will handle this. Doryo says, "I'm going to lick this armpit." Kotetsu is confused. This is a pun. Nameru means to lick and to make fun of. Kotetsu confuses the two. In the blink of an eye, Kotetsu jumps up and cuts down Susano. He summons his Tetsuki, Burai. Gundam Burai is a Tetsuki given to Kotetsu by the former lord of the Amahodo clan. Much of the details of this unit are a mystery. Kotetsu says he becomes one with Burai, but he doesn't understand how it works. After damage is inflicted to the Tetsuki, the underlying frame can heal on its own. The Burai frame was originally found on Mount Bandai. The cockpit looks similar to a mobile trace system in G Gundam. He uses a wakizashi as a key and is surrounded by ofudas, which you see in shrines. But in anime, it's like a talisman that gives you magical powers. Doryo notices that Gundam Burai's V-fin is broken. They refer to it as the horns. He goes in to attack, but Kotetsu is faster. He takes down the Rokudo with ease. This reminds Susano of the past. In the 5th year of the Gunroku era, there was a civil war fought with Tetsukis. There is an ukiyo-e mural in Osaka Castle called the Siege of Osaka. This was a giant battle by Tokugawa Shogunate. This seems to be a slight nod to that mural. Those who rode Tetsukis with great power were known as the Gundam. Kotetsu tells Susano that this was originally his master's Tetsuki. He was once a part of the Amahodo clan. They were the ones that ruled the area before they were destroyed for treason. It was said that the remaining members committed suicide, but Kotetsu suggests that they were murdered. He goes to handle the Kikai-gumi. He heads to the Fukushima clan's magistrate. While there, Kotetsu is met with Amahodo Chiyo. This was his great master's daughter. The locals decide to take him and Chiyo into custody. Watching over the city are the brothers Shiroboshi and Kuroboshi, which translates to White and Black Star. Chiyo is looking to use the Sankin Kotai, which is the name of the Tetsuki tournament, to revive the Amahodo clan. She is mad that Kotetsu was chosen by her father over her. The two are brought to the Fukushima clan's magistrate, Magami Roko. It seems the daimyo is in on this as well. Just a quick reductionist history of pre-Meiji era Japan to catch everyone everyone up. A daimyo is the ruling class similar to a duke who holds the lands. A magistrate is a government official. Both are essentially powerless to the shoguns. Organized crime ruled the lands. He wants the samurai to work for him, but suddenly a smoke bomb goes off. It is shiroboshi and kuroboshi. Kotetsu attacks the magistrate and slices his sword in half. As they run away, they are stopped by a gora. The gora is an older tetsuki built prior to the Battle of Sekigahara. These are used as guard units for fortresses. This unit was a test bed for newer units from the Tokuga's forces. It has the goro cannon on its back. Kotetsu slices the tetsuki, but it breaks his sword. Magame uppercuts the tetsuki. Kotetsu says, "This hand of mine is burning red." Nope, wrong one. He says, "This heart burns bright and his blade will rise again." Kotetsu does a front flip into a spinning dropkick onto Magame's head. He takes the broken blade and stabs it into the frame of the Gundam instead of the armor. The gora resembles a turtle. Chiyo got Susano to send over a sword. She happens to be in possession of a sacred sword. She gives it to Kotetsu. Magame fires the gora cannon. Kotetsu slices the cannonball in half. With this new sword, he is able to slice through the gora's armor. As Magame runs away, they are met with the Central Magistrate's Office Director of Tetsuki, Uga Tadanobu. He takes in Magame for his actions and seems to be helping the princess. They need to be careful as they make their way towards the festival, as others are out for them. Oka asks Kotetsu about the incident at Mount Kori. He says that he's never been there. It seems the Rokudo's head on a pike wasn't Kotetsu's doing. Oka says that he is indebted to the princess's father, so he is going to look the other way here. A mysterious shogun hears word that there is a Tetsuki hunter as strong as him. He looks at his Tetsuki Burumaru. Ikaruga of the Void, a part of the Tokugo clan, is hoping that the Tetsuki hunter is heading to the festival. He claims that the Tetsuki took everything from him and wonders if it is a Gundam. The Amahodo clan's chief retainer, Marumori Genzo, yells at Kotetsu and the princess. Gundam Burai is an unregistered Tetsuki. He doesn't want it to be seen. Outside, some are making a scene. It seems that a Kabuki troupe is in town. They do stage performances with Tetsukis. The gang goes to check it out. The Kabuki begins. It is a story of a Tetsuki that was terrorizing villagers when a soldier comes to help them. This is Burumaru. This reminds Kotetsu of other Gundam riders his master told him about. They eventually all disappeared. That is when a gang of thugs come in demanding their Tetsukis. Some of the men take villagers hostage. He claims the Kabuki troop damaged their island. The Tetsuki will be used as payment for Sankin Kotai. They seem to use Sankin Kotai as the term for the festival. But Sankin Kotai is a system from feudal Japan, which is essentially designed to drain the wealth of the daimyos and help bolster economic growth during the time. But it forces the daimyo out of their city, and they must live in Edo for a part of the year. This also helps prevent them from uprising. Also, I would like to be a part of the cannabis clan, please. Kotetsu says he will fight them, but the actor playing Budomaru punches the thug. He's mad he's not getting attention, as Kotetsu summons Gundam Burai. The theater kids get into the Tetsukis, including Budomaru, and Gundam Burai fight the thugs. The two put on a show for those who are watching. He seems to be a Tetsuki hunter like Kotetsu. Budomaru says, "Good job, now let's go get drunk." The princess wants Budomaru and his troop to accompany them on their way to Edo. He doesn't ask any questions and says yes instantly. That was easy. They will try to hide the Tetsukis in plain sight on their way to Edo. The thug leader who got away meets with a cloaked man. He wasn't expecting to fight the wanted Tetsuki hunter. The cloaked man kills the thug. The next morning, they all head out. They hide Gundam Burai under a lot of clothes. Who's making these garments for Tetsukis, I wonder? That's a lot of fabric. Without the cotton gin, too? Chiyo is ready to bring back the Amahodo name. They make it to Edo. There are wanted posters everywhere for the Tetsuki hunter. Budomaru and the samurai go their separate ways. Kotetsu leaves him a note with the Amahodo seal on it. He is certain they will meet again at Hanzo's gate. The 12 battle demons of Tokugo congregate, each coming from a different clan. There are also 4 first-class battle demons: Shuda of Judgment, Ikaruga of the Void, Suzura of the Veil, and Ebisu of the Tide. And at the top is Tokugo Sozin. Kotetsu is spying on their meeting with Shiroboshi. Date Yashimura of the Date clan wishes to back out of the festival due to financial issues. They can't afford the expenses to constantly travel to Edo. Taxes be damned! Tokugo says fine, but he must resign and his clan will be replaced. The man tries to reason with Tokugo, so Shuda of Judgment did a little judging and deemed Date to not be worthy of speaking back to Tokugo. He slices his chest. Kotetsu stops Shuda from killing the Date family member. Chiyo uses this opportunity. She tells Tokugo that she is from the Amahodo clan and wishes to participate in the festival. The Tokugo clan didn't know that there were any remaining members of the Amahodo clan, specifically Ikaruga of the Void, aka Samurai Char. Shuda of Judgment is insulted that they would bring tetsukis onto this sacred ground. He responds by bringing his tetsuki onto the sacred grounds. They're trying to clear the Amahodo name. Their clan was blamed for a crime they did not commit. Kotetsu saw the truth happen in front of his eyes. Marumori Genzo got the princess and the twins out of there, but Kotetsu bared witness to his master being slain. Tokugo wonders, how does one clear the name of a dead man? She wants him to bow to her and reveal the truth of what happened that evening. She will do this with the wish granted to the winner of Sankin Kotai. Tokugo allows Kotetsu and Chiyo to represent the Amahodo clan at the festival. He says, let Sankin Kotai begin. The men sound the horagai. A horagai is a type of conch. Susano can hear the horns from her village. The horns can be heard throughout Japan. Chiyo is holding a small container with the Amahodo crest. This is called an inro. Edo-era clothes don't have pockets, so they put things into inros and store it in the obi, or sash, of the kimono. In the past, Kotetsu goes to handle the Date clan, while Chiyo's brother, Amahodo Ruji, protects the homeland. We are finally introduced to the Amahodo clan leader, Amahodo Injin. He gives little Chiyo his inro for good luck as they go into a battle. He tells her that they're all connected by the furnace of their hearts. This butchered G Gundam line was said by Kotetsu earlier, and seems to be an Amahodo motto. One thing to note is that in the past, Ryuji is the Gundam Burai rider, and not Injin. Ryuji attacks cloaked tetsukis moving in on the city. Back in the present, the Amahodos head to the Tochigi clan's Hattori Castle gate. They were challenged to their first match. They meet with Hattori Hanzo. Kotetsu says, hey, are you one of those demon warriors, little kid? He treats them to some kashiwa mochi, which is mochi wrapped in oak leaf. Has anyone tried that? Kotetsu eats it and is in pain. Hanzo says, surprise, I filled it with wasabi. The Sankin Kotai referees enter. They wear kuroko and have a mask that resembles a zaku. One of the judges says, let me explain what's going on. Everyone wonders why he's yelling. The top 12 with the most tetsuki heads proceeds to the finals. Once their tetsuki is decapitated, they're disqualified. Alright, I'm gonna stop yelling now. Both parties must agree to the battle or there will be no match. Chiyo signs in blood. After the refs leave, the incense causes everyone to pass out. Kotetsu tries to attack, but he too passes out. He awakes to Shiroboshi. He found everyone but the princess is missing. He flashes back to a conversation with Chiyo, looking on at what appears to be her family grave. He tells Kotetsu that if he has to choose between her life and the cause of the Amahodo clan, then choose the cause. She seems to be ready to visit her family in the afterlife. Kotetsu says he will keep his promise. In the present, he finds Hanzo. He tells him that he overdid it. He says that he tortured Chiyo. Kotetsu hopes she is alive and promises that he will inflict pain twofold on Hanzo. He summons Gundam Burai. Hanzo assumed that Chiyo would be the one who summoned the Gundam. He summons his Tetsuki, Gyo-Kuto. The Gyo-Kuto, or Jade Rabbit, is used by the rabbit war demon, Hattori Hanzo. This is a ninjutsu Tetsuki, which specializes in cloning, illusions, and substitutions. Its special technique is the Tetsuki Ninpo activated mode, handed down by the Hattori family. It also has a hidden blade called the Tokaku. The day before the opening of the Sankin Kotai, Ikaruga of the Void assembles the Tokugo clan. They have found Tetsukis hidden in the ground and gives a report on their findings. The Tetsuki codenamed Hirawahime was found in a limestone cave. A local fisherman found another Tetsuki underwater. This is codenamed Kawarabi. The next is Mabaki, a heavy Tetsuki designed for siege attacks. Another was found underground with a giant shakujo, which is a Buddhist staff. Found in two statues were two twin Tetsukis, which looks like they are Obishimi masks, which is a no mask that resembles an ogre. Their codename Agrio and Ungyo. These twin Tetsukis seem to be protecting something. There have also been reports of a mysterious Tetsuki wandering. Ikaruga of the Void seems to be looking for a particular Tetsuki, but has yet to find it. The two Tetsukis face off. The refs tell them to state their names before they begin. The Tetsukis clash. Off in the distance is a man who is painting Tetsukis named Gakkyō-rōjin Manji. A man asks him what he is doing. It happens to be Ikaruga of the Void. He introduces himself as Gakkyō-rōjin Manji, and all his work has the manji. And yes, the manji is the swastika. This is a Buddhist symbol used on temples and maps. In this case, it is used on the Wanted Tetsuki Hunter poster. Gakkyō-rōjin Manji is the painter of the wanted posters. Also, at the end of each chapter, this painter has his own side story. Both of them seem to be interested in the Tetsuki Hunter. Gakkyō tells him that they are fighting over a princess who is in captivity. Ikaruga doesn't like the sound of that and does something about it. Hanzo tries to lure Gundam Burai into a trap. Kotetsu wants him to fight fair and square. Hanzo uses his special technique, Ninpo Tetsuki. He creates a bunch of shadow clones of Gyokuto that he calls Tetsuki Bunshin. Kotetsu takes out one clone, but Hanzo almost gets him from behind. The clones surround him. Ikaruga of the Void takes on the Hotori men and saves Chiyo. When he wakes her up, he refers to her as brother. He sets her free so he could tell Kotetsu she is safe. He doesn't seem to be fighting at 100% because of her. She thanks Ikaruga and leaves. There's someone hiding in the shadows, and Ikaruga can sense them. The clones keep on coming. It is a battle of attrition. After getting knocked down, Kotetsu stands back up, now with more determination. Some of the clones explode into smoke screens. Hanzo uses another special technique, the rabbit horns. Kotetsu feels powerless. He flashes back to the massacre of the Amahodos. We see how he gets a scar on his eye and chest. He wasn't able to see that day, just like now. Kotetsu uses Gundam Burai's eyes to see. He blocks Hanzo's attack. Hanzo then tries to attack him on the back. During this time, people who have scars on their hands, face, and chest is a sign of bravery and one who didn't turn their back. But a scar on the back means that you were trying to run away and is seen as cowardly. Kotetsu detaches the armor. He calms himself before slicing through the Gyokuto while yelling Kisha Kaisei. This is a Japanese idiom that means to wake from death and to return to life. Essentially, every shonen anime has a Kisha Kaisei moment. Kotetsu goes to take off the Gyokuto's head when he kicks back. Chiyo yells at Kotetsu, telling him she is okay. They have a conversation. The judges say, "Hey man, you're in a match. You better keep fighting or we're gonna call this a draw." That is when Hanzo decides to forfeit. His leg is severed and he couldn't fight even if he wanted to. The Amahodo clan wins their first match. Gyakuro Jinmanji tells Ikaruga of the Void that he is looking forward to his match. Kotetsu wakes up to find everyone hanging out, including Hanzo. He wants to fight Hanzo for what he did to Chiyo, but he explains that it was all fake. Her wounds were makeup, and it was all a trick. Hanzo refers to Kuroboshi as senpai. This was all Kuroboshi's plan from the beginning. The Amahodos are the ones who barged into a foreign territory making demands. They can't let their guard down, so Kuroboshi hired Hanzo to test him. They trained as ninjas back in the day. Shiraboshi and Kuroboshi are the ninjas of the Amahodo clan, while the rest are shogun. The Hattori family used to serve in the Kogion Mitsu. This was a secret police designed to spy on the daimyos. Shuda of Judgment was the winner of the last Sankin Kotai and the closest to Tokugo. Abisu of the Tide is the oldest and was more loyal to Tokugo Sozen's father. Suzura of the Veil is the newest leader of the Tobari family and had no power when the Amahodo clan was slaughtered. Ikaruga of the Void, however, is a mystery. He was appointed as a member of the Four Heavenly Kings after the Amahodos were slaughtered. They get word that the Kyoto clan won their first battle. They are the frontrunner to win this year. The Osaka clan beat the Wakayama clan, and the Obi clan beat the Nagasaki clan. Hanzo suggests heading north to the Sugaru clan, a prisoner clan that might know about the assassination of the Amahodos at Ryusen-do, which is a limestone cave in the Iwate prefecture. Oka Tadanobu investigates. The excavated tetsuki was stolen and many were killed in action. It seems to have escaped by blowing a hole at the top of the cave. Oka wonders if it moved unmanned. Kotetsu visits Kimoto Tetsumasa, chief Tetsuki blacksmith with the Kimoto group. With him is Susano, who happens to be Kimoto's granddaughter. She wants to join them on their journey. They will need a Tetsuki blacksmith anyways. The Tetsuki facility is built behind Fudo Waterfall in Iwate. He says that this place was built in the old days, and there's an old language written everywhere in the facility. This old language happens to be English. Is this some weird world that exists after a nuclear apocalypse? He tells them that Gundam Burai was found somewhere near Mount Bandai, and it was brought here to be stored where they upgraded the unit. Kimono and his men get to work on the Gundam. Time for a bath. Shiraboshi is apparently a girl. It's hard to tell sometimes. Kotetsu comes into the bath with Shiraboshi. He says, "Boy, it's nice for us boys to just let our dicks hang out free." Kotetsu also thinks that Shiraboshi is a boy. She finally tells him that she is a girl. Awkwardness ensues. Elsewhere, someone is being chased by a Tetsuki. A young Ronin comes in to save the day. A Ronin comes in and takes down the Tetsuki. This is a forbidden war zone. The Ronin is the head instructor of the Kisaragi family, Kisaragi Senri. She does her secret technique on the Tetsuki, the Kisaragi school of unparalleled swordsmanship. Multiple lightning-fast slashes go through the arm before exploding. This is an unmanned Kotetsu, and she is trying to draw out the Kotetsu in charge. She draws out a Kotetsu with the seal of a devil crest. Kotetsu comes in and attacks the Tetsuki. Kisaragi believes this person might be involved in the killing of the Amahodo clan. He says everyone everything is guided by Mikoboshi, which is the Japanese Chaos Demon King. Somewhere else, Chiyo Zenro begins glowing. She wonders why. The cloaked Ronin seems to be looking for Chiyo Zenro. He says that he now knows what the 10 keys are and runs away. Kisaragi happens to be Shiroboshi's apprentice. She is heading back to her city due to this incident. She wants to find answers. She plans on researching the 10 keys and Mikoboshi. Kisaragi hands Shiroboshi an envelope to give to Kotetsu. The random stranger tells Kotetsu of a woman who was able to take down the Tetsuki. This was an unmanned Tetsuki. There happens to be many instances of this happening throughout the nation. Shiroboshi gives Kotetsu the letter. What's written on the envelope says, "To my stupid disciple." His attitude changed after reading it. They go to repair Gundam Burai. 5 days later, Susano has finished fixing the Gundam. She calls this new form Gundam Burai second form. It is Ni no Kata, so it's directly translated to second kata, like those free forms you do in karate to get your yellow belt. Ikaruga of the Void and Tokugo Sozin are learning more about this Gundam Burai and the old legend of the Gundams. Tokugo wants all the power. He looks up at a Tetsuki they are working on called Kuruda, or Guruda, the Suguru clan, Shirakami village. Chiyo wonders why her inro glowed. She actually never opened it. She finally does and finds a jewel. The princess wonders if this is the key. That is when a Tetsuki begins rampaging through the city. This seems to be a common occurrence in the village. Kotetsu wants to help, but Kuroboshi notes someone has come to help out. The Tetsuki comes running towards the village when its legs freeze. Then a hammer bludgeons the Tetsuki. It happens to be the 12 war demons of Tokugo, the Ox. The Golzuki, or ox-headed demon, is piloted by Kadoma Moritsuge of the Sugaru clan. It has 2 forms: Kudan form for offensive power, and Golzuki form for defense. This can generate a snowstorm with its arms and handles well in extreme cold. Its special moves are the Hosuika and the Suiten Toki. In Kudan form, the helmet resembles an ox. Kadoma Moritsuge gets out of the Tetsuki and tells the other Tetsuki rider that they are going to jail for 10 years. Kotetsu came to visit Moritsuge as directed by Kisaragi in the Ofu mining prison. Kadoma Moritsuge is touring the mines with Kotetsu. He is informed of the Bull Crest. He knows that this is the seal of the Amatsu house, a clan that has perished. He is looking for a Gundam. Kadoma tells the story of the Amatsu house, who protected the lands from a giant serpent. The Amatsu house worshipped the god of war. Their form of worship comes in the form of Gundam Mikoto. He is looking for an ore in the mines called Maganseki. He plans on using the material for his new Tetsuki. Kadoma Moritsuge wonders what Amatsu has to do with Amahodo. Perhaps his 10 keys is involved. They happen to run into Doryo Jaizetsu, the snake man from the first chapter. He says, "Hey, it's those people from the Amahodo clan. It's those ones that got wiped out." Kadoma punches the mines and says, "Look at the resolve of this princess. Look at it." "Alright, dude, take it down a notch." Doryo and the boys, Magame and Kaiichi, want to use tomorrow's battle to make their moves. Shiraboshi is spying on their conversation. She tells the Amahodos, these idiots didn't learn their lesson, so they are going to take advantage of them. While Kotetsu fights his battle, Shiraboshi, Chiyo, and Kuroboshi will head to the mines. Kotetsu will have Gendo and Susano at the battle to back him up. The next day, Kadoma and Kotetsu meet on the battlefield. Kotetsu summons Gundam Burai second kata. Gundam Burai second form, or second kata, is the upgraded Gundam Burai after Kotetsu's first battle with Hanzo. Susano used old relics from ancient times used by the Amahodo clan. This was from a time when technology was more advanced. The Tetsuki's sword has 2 blades with 2 different modes, Furai Shojin and Sodo Jumonji. 2 shoulder shields have been added called the Tanka no Usode. They are installed on a rail system. Like the original, most of the Tetsuki's strength comes from the rider. Kotetsu says his G-Gundam knockoff line, and the 2 begin their match. He rushes in head-on. Kadoma uses his violent ice vortex, or Hosuika. It freezes Gundam Burai's legs. I guess it's closer to cold hurricane, but Kotetsu uses the Tanka no Usade shields to block the frost. There's a pun happening with the name of these shields that even the translator can't figure out. Kotetsu uses the flame fusion sword technique, but Kadoma is able to tank the attack. The Golzuki pushes back the Gundam. Kotetsu says it is stronger than the Gora. Kadoma says, "This is no Gora, boy. No Gora!" This is, of course, a reference to Fat Gundam, where Ramba Rao said this exact same thing about Izaku. But also, he's fat. That's the manga. It's just OG Gundam, but everyone is fat. I need to cover this. Yeah, I know it's about the other thing, too. Doryo and his gang make moves on the mines. They find one of his hidden treasures, a sword. Kuroboshi, Shiraboshi, and Chiyo are following them. They demand that they hand over the sword. After Doryo pulls the sword out from the stone, the mines begin to shudder. A noise erupts. While Doryo is talking about being the greatest, A giant serpent comes from behind and eats him. Time to run. Kisaragi is researching this Gundam Mikoto when head of the Kisaragi family, Kisaragi Sanosuke, tells her that she needs to tread lightly. She tells him to spit out what he knows about Amatsu in regards to the 10 keys and Mikaboshi. Back at the battle, they hear a loud bang coming from the mines. Suddenly, a very old and beaten Rokudo approaches the Sankin Kotai judges and their Rokudo. It begins attacking. Kotetsu gets a bad feeling about this. Smoke appears, and out of the smoke appears a swarm of tetsukis. All of these are unmanned. One of them is called Tetsuki Keijoro. Tetsuki Keijoro is an unmanned tetsuki. This can hover and create a fog around itself. The hair strands are jacks that can hack into tetsukis and take control of their functionality for its own bidding, like a zombie. Kotetsu believes it jacks into other tetsukis to obtain data from the past. Kotetsu thinks the cloaked man is nearby. The unmanned tetsukis attack the Gozuki. Kadoma thinks these are calculated movements, and thus being controlled by someone. Kadoma says, "Don't mess with me. I'm the frozen keeper of the prison." Oh yeah, the mines are a prison and Doryo was a prisoner. I don't think I mentioned that. The Gozoku transforms into Kudan form. Everyone runs out of the caves as they don't want to get eaten. They have to do something about this before it hurts everyone. Well, someone else. No one cares that the man with the snake tongue got eaten by a snake. Chiyo, Shiroboshi, and Kuroboshi make it out of the cave before it comes crushing down, but Magame and Kaiichi are crushed. Kuroboshi tries to stop Chiyo from saving the prisoners, as they are not worth the risk, but she helps out anyways. She says, "Bitch, we Amahodo, we don't play like that." Kuroboshi thinks to himself that this empathy is one day going to get this princess killed. He tries to stop the serpent, leaving the princess in Shiroboshi's hands. He knows that mirrors used to ward off demons in ancient times. He pulls out a Kagami, most likely in reference to Yuta no Kagami, or Mirror of Wisdom. This is used in Shintoism, but it is also considered one of the 3 great treasures of Japan. The serpent approaches Kuroboshi and begins attacking. He uses the Kagami to summon Tetsuki Yutagarasu. Everyone wonders why there is fog everywhere. Susano and the Ashigaru comes to get the princess out of there. More zombie Tetsukis come out of the fog. They know that there must be a leader. Suddenly, one runs directly towards the Ashigaru. Chiyo realizes that they are after her Enryu. Gundam Burai takes out the Tetsuki. Kotetsu tells her to leave the key with him while she gets the hell out of there. Their plan is to use the Gozoku to freeze the area, allowing others to move into the fog and take out the ringleader. The zombie Tetsukis rush towards Kotetsu. One Tetsuki stabs the Gozoku in the back. Princess Chiyo hates that she has to rely on Kotetsu and is frustrated she can't handle things on her own. Being the head of the Amahodo clan, Kadoma does his large cold wave attack. He freezes all the Tetsukis in the area. The unmanned Tetsuki Keijoro makes its appearance. They rush towards the Tetsukis before it disappears into the fog again. It summons 2 Tetsukis, but Kotetsu uses the frivolous dual blade attack. The Tetsuki uses its tendrils to attach to Gundam Burai. It tries to tear Kotetsu and Gundam Burai apart from the inside. He realizes this thing can take away one's autonomy. He uses the power of being the main character to regain control of the Gundam. He rushes in and slices through Keijoro. Its head falls to the ground, but not for long. Before we begin, I want to talk about Chiyo's mother. Her name is Amahodo Chiharu. She is only shown for a brief moment. However, according to a data file at the end of each volume, it states that her maiden name is Kisaragi, which is why Kisaragi Senri in the present is so close to the Amahodos. They are family. Once Tetsuki Keijoro fell, so too did the zombie Tetsukis. They realized that they were being controlled by a leader. Kotetsu is freaked out by the Tetsuki. He says that it tried to read his mind, and claims that the key is the thing that saved his life. While no one was looking, the head disappears. It flies in the air and jumps down onto Kotetsu. Its tendrils attach him once again. This time, he is able to see memories. These are Gundam Burai's memories throughout different periods. A few of these memories show that the past was indeed more technologically advanced. The zombie Tetsuki start to move again. Kadoma uses a frost attack. That is when Gozuki begins communicating with him. It tells him that the unmanned Tetsuki is going to self-destruct, along with Kotetsu. He tells everyone to get back. The princess's first reaction to this is to run towards Kotetsu. Kadoma rushes in and rips off the head from Gundam Burai, and sends it rolling like a bowling ball. The unmanned Tetsuki explodes. Sometime later, Chiyo is looking at a shrine. She blames herself for all of this, along with getting the Sugaru clan mixed up in all of this. The criminals Magame and Kaiichi thank the princess for saving their lives. They are indebted to her now. She is so depressed because she has failed. They spend 10 pages making you think she is talking about Kotetsu dying, but he comes behind her and says, "Hey, what's up?" While eating, they talk about what they call the haired tetsuki and the serpent. It appears Tokugo knew about the sword and the serpent, which is probably why the area was forbidden. Except for prisoners, I guess. That is when they realize Kuroboshi is right next to them. They say, "Hey man, what the hell happened with the serpent?" He says he was chasing the serpent when suddenly it gave up and went underground. What about the tetsuki you wielded from last time? This guy, I don't trust him. They realize that both the serpent and the hair tetsuki were trying to get Chiyo's key. There are probably other keys out there. Kadoma wants to inform the other clans because he doesn't want an explosion to go off in the middle of the village. His Gozuki is heavily damaged. Kotetsu says that they should start looking for other keys. The Amatsu clan is the former capital. Just like in real life, Japan's capital was moved to Tokyo from Kyoto in 1868 as a part of the Meiji Restoration. Meanwhile, at the Great Edo Hall, Tokugo is informed by the judges that Kotetsu and Kadoma's match has been nullified because of the interference of unmanned tetsukis. There has also been people in the Forbidden Zone. Shuda of Judgment says that he will take care of this. Sometime in the past, Kadoma is fighting against Amahodo Enji, Chiyo's father and Kotetsu's master. He yields to Kadoma. He then tells him that if he wins the festival, he wants to ask Tokugo the true meaning of the festival. He says that its purpose is to attain strength. He wonders if Tokugo is subtly hinting towards a rebellion. He says that Amahodo is too straight-laced, and those are the words of a man who dies young. Kadoma also has an apprentice. It is Sakai Shuda, soon to be Shuda of Judgment. He wonders why he didn't take Amahodo's head. He tells him that there are other ways to show power without having to resort to violence. Taking their head is ruling through fear. Shuda doesn't like this approach and thinks it goes against Tokugo. He calls Kadoma a naive fool, but he responds by saying he has the strength of an ogre, but to never let your head become an ogre. Back in the present, Shuda of Judgment visits Kadoma. He is trying to get a lead on the hair tetsuki. Shuda asks if he shared any of his findings. He tells him no. Shuda then stabs Kadoma from behind. This isn't Shuda. Kadoma tosses Shuda and breaks his blade. He then transforms. This is the man who killed the Amahodo clan. The mystery man says that they both knew too much. In his dying breath, he thanks Sakimori. This is traditional Japanese guardsmen of the sorts, so this is probably just referring to his men in general. He also says that even with the Kudan, he couldn't foresee his death. So it seems that him foreseeing the future wasn't due to the unmanned tetsuki, and rather the power of Gozuki's Kudan form. The real Shuda of Judgment comes to visit Kadoma's shrine. In the end, he was right. Kadoma was too naive, and it ultimately cost him his life. He thinks that opening his heart is what got him killed. Shuda says judgment is coming to the Amahodo clan. Meanwhile, the Amahodos make their way back to Kyoto. On their way, the judges made him challenge the Izuwa clan and their Tetsuki Masamune. There is no data on this Tetsuki. They only show it for one panel. A few battles have passed since they made it back to Kyoto. Once back, they realize that Raibu Danjioro, aka Burumaru, and his Kabuki is cancelled due to the gangs in the city. Specifically, a man with an X scar on his chest. Meanwhile, Kabuki Man is being cornered. He is forced to fight these mysterious ninjas. One calls Raibu by his real name, the second son of the Ueda clan, Sonata Yakimatsu. Raibu Dankyoto is a part of the third-generation Kabuki troupe known as Raibuza. He ended up leaving his family, the Sonatas. The Sonata family controls Ueda, which is a merger of multiple clans. Because of this, there are inter-clan disputes. The head of the Ueda clan is Sonata Yugitetsu. Raibu refers to him as brother. Many are trying to usurp Yugitetsu. He asks about his injury. It happened during his first Tetsuki battle, and he was interrupted by the Tetsuki that Kisaragi ran into in the past. He blacked out and was saved the next morning. Yugitetsu awoke to a grave of Tetsukis. His Tetsuki had bite marks as though a pack of wolves tore him to shreds. It was also encased in something that looked like spider webs. Sonata tells him that he is fine. The men trying to take control of Ueda is Habu Gosari, Tobe Nishiki, and Irifu Hari. They are trying to use Yugitetsu's weakness as a reason to rise up. He asks Raibu to fight in the Sankin Kotai in his place until he recovers. Raibu tells him to get his shit together. He has to ask the rest of the Sonata family, which happens to be mainly children. One says that Raibu and Sonata don't look like brothers. Their parents were killed during some inter-clan dispute. Now being the head of the Ueda clan, Yugitetsu didn't have time to take care of his brother, so Raibu decided to head out on his own. Later, Raibu decides to get a drink in the red light district. While drinking, he runs into a woman that gives him a shock. Back at the Sonata home, they are informed of the next Tetsuki match. It is against Ageha of the Nara clan. Her tetsuki is called the Mobile Red Light District, known as Kaguya, and she is an escort. This is who Raibu is currently in shock of. Raibu runs away from Kaguya. Tetsuki Kaguya is an older era tetsuki used by the Nara clan. It uses a sublight system of the sorts called the Tekaido. Those chosen by Kaguya are destined to fight Onis, or ogres. The true form is Gundam Kaguya, which has butterfly wings, which affect the Tetsuki's nanomachines. This unit has AoE effects. The Shinra Banso blocks opponents' movements, and the Debayashi increases allies' performance. We will learn that this, Gundam Fudo, and Gundam Burai can work together to release a special attack. It also has the Ten-E Miho, which uses its wings to turn anything into sand. It was deemed too dangerous and hasn't been used since the old era. He runs into town, where the Ueda clan's Tetsukis come to help. They look like they're Ashigarus with different samurai armor. Ageha Dayu of the Nara clan introduces herself and her Tetsuki. The next day, they make the battle official. Raibu and Ageha bicker with one another. She calls him Kabukimono. Kabukimonos are ronins with flamboyant and extravagant outfits. You ever seen an Edo-era ronin wearing a western hat? That's most likely Kabukimono as well. McMurdo and IBO has the essence of this type of person. The other families are hoping that they lose as an excuse to continue inter-family fighting. Raibu wonders if his brother is truly okay as his spirit seems broken. We see the mysterious murderer of the Amahodo clan looking forward to the Ueda clan's next match. His attack on Yugitetsu was calculated. He says it is time to try an experiment. Back with the Ueda clan, Yugitetsu begins to panic. It is as though someone is tearing him apart from the inside. The men of the other families have been whittling down the Sonata family for 10 years. And now is their time. Suddenly, Yugitetsu attacks the men with 2 spider Tetsukis. He blames their parents' death on them, but one says that they only helped out. The person who actually killed his parents is someone called Amatsure. He doesn't care about the truth and kills them. The Sonata family gives Raibu an Ueda clan outfit. He looks up at his Tetsuki, Budomaru. Budomaru, or Furumaru, is a Tetsuki from the old era. Danjoro Raibu found it collecting dust in a hangar. Its true form is Gundam Furumaru, and will be activated by Raibu's strong desire to save Yugitetsu. When activated, it vents heat from the Tetsuki's furnace, which is supposed to represent the opening of one's ki. In the past, it never relied on weapons, but it does have the Kakusei Kin Kirukata, which is a nanomachine blade, and the Kakusei Tsui, which is a giant hammer that creates a shockwave. Its special move is the Myo-o Kikusho, which is a ki blast. Yugitetsu is approached by a man named Amatsure. This is the man who killed his family along with the Amahodos. Amatsu feels bad about it, so he gave him a power. This is power granted by Mikaboshi. He can now talk to spiders. In the present, Danjoro Raibu is running away from Kaguya. Their match has begun. Budomaru uses the Kakusei Tsui hammer to burst through the ground, making Kaguya lose her footing. Out of the ground comes the drone Takaido subflight system. It could break apart and function on its own. They come together to perform the special technique, the Tekai Dochu Gensai Yo Koyo no Jin. Tekai Dochu is Iron Parade. It is a reference to Oidan Dochu, which is a parade of courtesans. Gensai Yo Koyo no Ji is the Impenetrable Pupa Fortress. So the whole thing together is the Iron Parade Impenetrable Pupa Fortress. What a mouthful. I guess I could have just said special technique and been done with it. Raibu begins running away once again. Some of the Ueda clan watch the match. But Saizo senses something approaching. He attacks it and finds that it is a spider. Saizo learns that many of these spiders are approaching the town. This must be what attacked Yugitetsu. The painter Gakyo Rojin Manji approaches them and says he could help out. Kaguya surrounds Budomaru when the Tetsuki and Takaido are captured in spiderwebs. It is Yugitetsu. Raibu tells him it isn't safe to be here, but even Ageha can tell that something is wrong with him. Yugitetsu thwips some webs onto Raibu's Tetsuki. Budomaru starts acting weird. He tells Raibu that with this power, he can defeat Tokugo. Ageha thinks he is possessed by an Oni, consumed with power. He feels that he could break free of the responsibilities of being the head of the Ueda family. He wants Raibu to be defeated. Once upon a time, shooting stars fell from the sky, and Onis began terrorizing the people. Brave warriors rose up to defeat them. They became warrior gods, or Bushin. However, the Oni leader was too strong to contain. In order to contain them, they just went to sleep to end the war. Really? That's it? This is a story told by Yugitetsu and Raibu's mother. When they were younger, his mother says that they could protect one another and they could become like the Bushin. In the present, the spider Tetsuki rushes Budamaru. He flings its webs everywhere, messing with Raibu's weapons. He dodges the attack. Ageha tells him that these aren't normal Tetsukis. These are iron demons. She tells him to get out of here. It's their mission to take out the Onis of the world. She detaches Kaguya from the Tekadai, revealing Gundam Kaguya. She unleashes another special technique, Shinra Bansho. She plays the shamisen, which is the kabuki banjo you see in Japanese pop culture. The sound causes the spiders to stop. Yugitetsu tries to fire at Kaguya, but she is too fast. She attacks Yugitetsu, but Raibu is still worried about his brother. Yugitetsu rages, and the spider reveals a bipedal Tetsuki inside. He grabs Kaguya and fires a spiderweb missile. Our favorite cliche comes in to save the writer from trying too hard. Raibu jumps in the way, taking the brunt of the web bullet. He is badly injured. In the past, Yugitetsu always beat Raibu. It is the reason why he left the Sonata home. He wanted to forge his own path. Raibu refuses to let his brother be consumed by the Oni. Every Tetsuki has a unique cockpit. We just saw Ageha use the shamisen. For Raibu, it is the yari, a traditional staff used in kabuki. He places the yari in the cockpit, similar to Kotetsu and the wakizashi. Budamaru begins self-healing. He is a Bushin. Yugitetsu tells him that when the 10 keys are present, the path to Migaboshi will be opened. He says it is the time of the Teki. If Tetsuki is Iron Machine, Teki is Iron Oni, or Iron Demon. The Oni are trying to give birth to the true Gundam. Yugitetsu unleashes several tiny spiders that head towards the town. The baby spiders heal the bigger spiders. Ageha and Saizo go to help the townsfolk, while Raibu takes on his brother. Kisaragi Senri is also helping the city. She runs into Ikaruga of the Void, but he ignores her and goes into a flashback unprovoked. This writer said, "I don't need no woman to trigger my flashbacks." That's pretty funny, but also lazy writing. You can't do that more than once. His memories are fleeting, but he has a pendant, which is one of the sacred treasures. He doesn't know what it is, but it clearly is a part of the 10 keys. Amahodo's death seemed to be due to these 10 keys as well. Man, Kisaragi isn't even the main character and she is solving problems left and right. The two brothers continue fighting. Yugitetsu had to constantly fight people within the Ueda clan, and it was a nightmare for him. No one would give him praise when things were going well, but he had to take all the burden when things weren't so good. Then he saw his kabuki troupe perform one day and saw how happy he was. But Raibu does reverse Uno and says he is the person he is because of Yugitetsu. Budamaru does the shining finger on the spider Tetsuki and tries to pull Yugitetsu out. However, the Tetsuki explodes. He takes out the spider. The smaller spiders stop in their tracks once destroyed. Ikaruga of the Void looks at Gundam Fudo and says it is a Gundam, but not the one he is looking for. But seeing this makes him certain that Gundam Burai is indeed the Gundam he is looking for. He says it is the one who took away his past. Yugitetsu is still alive for now. He says he had a dream where Raibu pulled him out of the darkness, like the stories his mother used to tell him. Raibu says he could rest. His brother passes away in his arms. Ageha mentions that in the past, Raibu was kind to her and made her forget that she was an escort and inspired her to become the Dayu. Ageha drinks with Raibu. He cries for his brother. She says Mommy Ageha is here now. The two of them will take down any Onis who try to attack. This, along with the serpent around the Tsugaru, means that Onis are waking up everywhere. They get word that there are Onis in Kyoto. A demon Tetsuki called Nu went on a rampage during a Tetsuki match. During a Tetsuki match between Konryo and Tetsuki Seimei. While fighting the Oni, it turns out that Seimei is a Gundam. Tokugo hears of this new Gundam. He is prepping the new mass-produced Tetsuki. It is time for the next round of the Sankin Kotai. The battle would be held at Mount Fuji. We cut to Kotetsu fighting Shuda of Judgment. Kotetsu is losing. Shuda goes for the head, but the blade doesn't completely slice through and is able to hold its own for a while until he finally takes the head of the Gundam. Before making the final blow, someone intervenes. It is Ikaruga of the Void and Tetsuki Garuda. Tetsuki Garuda is an old Tetsuki hidden by Rei Amatsu. This can hover and uses two ninja drones, named Agrio and Ungrio, for support. This is handed over to Ibisu of the Tide and later fell into the hands of Ikaruga of the Void. They use data from this Tetsuki to build the Rokudo flying type. Its true form is Gundam Garuda. The skirt around the waist becomes a sword called the Hachiba. Garuda strikes a pose before attacking. Ikaruga says that he has his reasons for intervening. He unleashes Angyo and Ungyo. They surround Shuda's Tetsuki. Chiyo tells Kotetsu not to give up. Kotetsu is in a place between time and space. Someone tells him that if he wishes to acquire more power, then he will have to accept a bigger burden. Kotetsu wonders who this person is. He tells him that he is Rei Amatsu, and he used to pilot this Tetsuki. Kotetsu wakes up. With Shuda distracted, Garuda focuses on Burai. Ikaruga tells Chiyo to move. Blue flames engulf Burai. Kuroboshi forces Chiyo to get back. He realizes Kotetsu unlocked the Gundam's true form. He calls it Aramitama. Consumed with rage, Kotetsu attacks Ikaruga. Shuda takes down Garuda's ninja drones. He does the special technique, the Raigo Denten. That is when the Rokudo flying type approaches. They are finally completed. This is the mobile suit that Tokugo was completing based off of the Garuda. Ebisu is one of the pilots. They tell Shuda that they are going to go through with the plan. He says if he is this emotional to start a fight before the next round of Sankin Kotai, then perhaps he isn't ready to be one of the heavenly kings. Based on his own confession, his quarrels are with Amahodo engine, not with Kotetsu. They head back while letting Ikaruga handle Kotetsu. Ikaruga says that he's fighting more like a beast than a samurai. He does a special move called the Ara Habeki. Ikaruga uses Kotetsu's own swordmanship techniques. Something speaks to Kotetsu. Then he is able to reattach Gundam Burai's arm. Kuroboshi tells Chiyo he knows why Kotetsu is so special, but is unsure if she is ready for this burden. This dude has been suspicious this whole time. Yeah man, spill the beans. Amahodo was experimenting with Tetsuki human hybrids in the past. Kotetsu just so happened to be one of the experiments. He happens to be an artificial human. In the Amahodo clan, there once existed the Amatsu Research Institute. This was by those who believed in the god of war, Gundam Mikoto. Nanomachines allowed the body to become an extension of the Tetsuki. Most didn't live long. Kotetsu was the last experiment. Amahodo Engine didn't know about this organization until his 30s. He executed them all in secret and took the remaining experiments, which included Shiroboshi and Kuroboshi. This is why the Amahodos were attacked. It must have to do with the experimentation. Kotetsu sends the Garuda into the air. He can't just use rage to win this fight. Ikaruga stabs the Gundam. Gundam Burai falls to the ground, but Kotetsu jumps out. He drops down and slices the Garuda's eye with a real sword. He takes out the mono eye sensor. The two units fall to the ground. Both get up with barely a scratch on them. Easy peasy. Kotetsu notices that he uses the same sword techniques. These are Kisaragi's techniques, and he wonders where he learned them. The two have a sword fight without their Tetsukis. He lets his sword do the talking. This fighting style makes Kotetsu recall someone from the past. A kid with a sword called Sotoju Munji. Kotetsu slices his mask off, while Ikaruga slices his chest. Now that Kotetsu is close, it should have been obvious. Ikaruga of the Void is Amahodo Ryuji, heir to the Amahodo clan and Gundam Burai. After slicing Kotetsu in the chest, Ryuji seems to be retaining some old memories. We flash back to the past. Gundam Burai is pierced by a giant spear. Ryuji is running into the forest. He is trying to lure the mysterious man away, but he happens to be right in front of him. The mysterious man, who calls himself Rei Amatsu, just killed Amahodo Engine for revenge. Whatever the Amatsu Research Institute was working on, Amatsu seems to be in on it, and is mad that he lost his investment. He says that the two are like distant relatives, and then he chokes a bitch. He will force Ryuji to work for him. He will learn to loathe the Gundam. In the present, Chiyo comes to see if it truly is her brother Ryuji. His memories of the past come flooding back into his head. Convenient timing. He freaks out and gets into the Garuda and leaves. Screw my responsibilities. Kisaragi Senri approaches and tells Chiyo to stand up. She is confused, sad, and very lost. But all that stops being a problem when Kisaragi slaps Chiyo. She tells the princess to get it together. Every moment of self-reflection in Gundam must be followed by a slap. Susano handles fixing up Gundam Burai. Kisaragi wants to talk to Kuroboshi. They take Kotetsu to Ueda Clan's medical center. Meanwhile, Kisaragi and Marumoto Genzo start grappling Kuroboshi for hiding secrets from them. He did it because Amahodo Engine asked him to. Meanwhile, the Tetsuki Smiths take off the armor to reveal that the entire Gundam is self-healing. Susano says it's like scabs. Her grandpa and the Kimoto team come to help her out. Dogen Kimoto mentions that back during the incident with the Tsugaru clan, they found something. Recently it started up on its own. Then blueprints showed up on a screen. Just like the correct century, they found some old technology and reverse engineered the blueprints. They have new armor for Gundam Burai, but Susano has to make the finishing tweaks since she knows the Tetsuki the best. They're going to make a new Tetsuki that Kotetsu will be proud of. They have a month until the next match. Susano gets to work. In a nearby village, the Snake Oni terrorizes citizens. Raibu, aka Yugimitsu, heads out in Burumaru. Raibu says Mikaru Kaeshi no Tama, or Jewel of Resuscitation. This is a reference to the 10 sacred treasures in Shintoism. All the keys that are trying to be collected by this Rei Amatsu are a tip of the hat to Shintoism, as Amatsukami is the heavenly deity of Takamagahara. Takamagahara is pretty much heaven. Raibu realizes that this is the man who killed his family and begins attacking. Rei Amatsu killed his family, but they never told him where the Chikaeshi no Tama is, or the jewel of turning back on the road. This is the key of the Sonata family. Rei Amatsu will destroy all of the Oeta to find this. Raibu says, I don't even know anything about this jewel. That is when an Inro pops out of the cockpit containing the jewel. So much for plausible deniability. Since the attack with the Spider Onis, they really don't have the resources for another fight on Oeta soil. He doesn't know what to do. Finally, he decides to hand over the jewel while proclaiming he will crush him. Amatsure says that everything will come together in Shizuoka, where the finals will take place. Raibu tells Chiyo and Amatsure. He also says, oh, by the way, I'm also second to the Sonata family and acting leader of the Ueda clan. You missed a bunch of stuff. He wants to help the princess get her brother back. When Kuroboshi was at the Amatsu Institute, he heard stories of someone named Amatsu from the old era. When he was young, he found a book from the Mankind Union Force that had records of old battles. It has a picture of this Amatsu. It seems to be the person Kuroboshi was cloned from. Remember, Kuroboshi and Shiroboshi are also clones. He saw a girl in the photo and he felt something for her. But these aren't his feelings. There has to be a reason Tokugo made the final battle set as Shizuoka. That is when Hanzo makes his appearance. This was Kotetsu's first opponent in the Sankin Kotai. He said he found this guy that sounded like he had something important to say, so he brought him here. It happens to be Gakyo Rojin Manji. Shiroboshi is starstruck by the famous painter. She doesn't get excited about anything. He is the second generation. His mentor, the original Gakyo Rojin, used to proclaim that he was from the old era and was put in cold sleep. He provides the princess with the 36 views of Mount Fuji. These were 36 ukiyo-e paintings that depict Fujisan by the Great Hokusai. You most likely know the most noticeable painting, the Great Wave of Kanagawa. Gakyo Rojin Manji proclaims this is from the old era, which means this isn't just a nod and a series of references to Edo Japan. Edo Japan actually happened, society fell, and the Japanese recreated the Edo era, but this time with robots. They look at the drawings. Ryuji returns to Tokugo. He rushes back to ask him a question. Tokugo instantly realizes that he retained his true memories. He wants to know why he was chosen as one of the 4 heavenly kings. He says some try to continue spinning the wheel of the past while others become cogs to help start anew. Tokugo says they have to destroy the past to build the future. He asks Amahodo Ryuji what type of person he is. Chiyo and Shiroboshi check on Kotetsu only for him to have vanished. Shiroboshi has Hetsukagami, or Mirror of the Shore, one of the 10 sacred treasures. We cut to the past, where Kotetsu, Shiroboshi, and Kuroboshi talk sometime after Injin's death. Kotetsu feels responsible. In the present, Chiyo goes to look for him. She finds him floating out in the water while thinking of becoming a Gundam. Chiyo pulls him out and tells him to never leave her side. Time for a hug, but no kissing. We don't do that. Maybe a handshake. Suddenly, something appears underwater. It is another Oni Tetsuki with a long neck. It is reacting to Chiyo's jewel. The two bicker while swimming away. The Oni is attacked by Shiroboshi. She summons the Tetsuki beast, Komainu. There is no data on this Tetsuki, but it is called Komainu, so we could use context clues. Komainu, or lion dogs, are the guardians in front of temples to ward off evil spirits. Shiroboshi also yells Shishi, which is Komainu in Chinese. One has an open mouth and the other has a closed mouth to represent life and death, yin and yang, and all that jazz. Like the real Komainu, so too do these two have an open mouth, but one with fire and one with a closed mouth. Kisaragi brings Kotetsu Injin's sword called the Ryu Seito, which means meteor sword, post-Meiji restoration. Enomoto Takeaki found a meteorite while in Russia and eventually was used to forge 5 swords. Go read up on Enomoto Takeaki. Interesting dude. However, Kotetsu's sword turns into a Super Sentai sword, so I feel like there's some Super Sentai pun that I'm missing here. Back at the hangar, the Gundam reacts to Kotetsu using the sword. Susano knows that means Kotetsu is awake. Kisaragi says that he doesn't need the Gundam to protect the princess. It would be a disservice to the Kisaragi school also. Shiroboshi cuts off the head of the Oni, but it slithers towards Kotetsu. He slices the head right down to the middle perfectly. He's still injured from the previous battle. Kisaragi says that she is going to retrain Kotetsu. They believe that the ukiyo rays are showing 36 points around Mount Fuji to light something in the sky called the Heavenly Star. They believe that this may be Mikaboshi. Kisaragi and Kotetsu train. He is getting his ass kicked. Chiyo is heading to Shizuoka, which is the city near Mount Fuji. Kotetsu will meet up with them. She is going to handle Ryuji. It is now the day of the final match. Everyone gathers, including Raibu and Ageha. The Kyoto and Osaka representatives are already fighting one another before the match. Tokugo gives a speech, but the Kyoto representative interjects. He says, "Hey man, everyone's sacred jewel is getting jacked, and Onis are appearing everywhere. Are you trying to burn this all down?" He saw straight through his plan instantly. He ignores and cuts him off. This final match is a battle royale. Last one standing is the winner. Right as the match begins, someone is attacked from a non-participant. It is the Onis along with many zombie tetsukis. They are surrounded. Tokugo says, "Alright, let's do this." His castle transforms into a giant tetsuki called Tetsuki Castle Jiang. This has the head of the Jiang from Universal Century, but the rest looks like those late 80s, early 90s McDonald's Happy Meal toys. They postpone their fight to take care of the Onis. Meanwhile, the princess uses her charm to enter a secret lair where they meet Amatsure. Kuroboshi and Shiroboshi attack. Two minions fight the two ninjas. Shiroboshi realizes that they are fighting humanoid Tetsuki puppets. Amatsure goes to attack Chiyo, but she punches him in the face. Inside the Jiang are dozens of Rokudos who fire at the Onis. The Kyoto representatives kill a bunch of Onis with a chant. The giant Tetsuki suddenly stops moving. We flash back to Tokugo asking Ryuji what kind of person he is. Ryuji says he will continue helping Tokugo. He wants him to head to Fuji and find the sacred treasure and cut down the Oni's pawn. He dons the mask and returns to being Ikuruga of the Void. In the present, Ikuruga comes to save Chiyo. He will tell her everything after all this is over. For now, he must take out Amatsure. Abisu of the Tide comes in. He is drawn with squinty eyes, but he opens one to reveal that he has one of the jewels. He says that he is the one and only Gundam with this final jewel. All the power from everyone's sacred treasures goes into Amatsure's sword. Everyone tries to stop it, but Amatsu is now superpowered. Outside, the Jiang begins firing on everyone. Tokugo is no longer in control of the Tetsuki. Also, all the Rokudos are under Abisu's control. Kotetsu approaches and summons his Gundam. Look who's late to the party! He summons the new Gundam Burai, Shinnuchi. Kotetsu attacks the zombie Tetsukis in his new Gundam Burai, Shinoichi. Gundam Burai Shinoichi is optimized using nanomachines and uses ancient equipment from Fudo Falls thanks to Susano. This could go into space by combining with the Tetsuki Beast, Yatagarasu. The new shoulder armor is the Tenka no Usode, and the arm armor is called the Tenka no Kote. The Kamui makes the armor glow white and the head emit flames. Weapons include the Habanakai Katana, the Hibashida Katana, which is retractable due to nanomachine, and Tetsuki Cannon Rekka. The Kisaragi school was originally created to fend off Onis. Kisaragi teaches Kotetsu, a sacred technique passed down throughout the generations. Tokugo and the Jiang is getting swallowed up by a dark spirit like Yugitetsu a few episodes back. Kotetsu tells everyone to spread Kotodama with them. Kotodama is word spirit. Japanese people believe that language has the ability to shape physical reality, and power dwells in words and names. It is rooted in Shintoism. Kotetsu's heart is burning like Domon's hands. All the Tetsukis work together. This page specifically seems to be a reference to the lyrics of the main Gundam opening. Burn the swirling tide of blood, Gundam. Or the line, if you still have a raging, burning fighting spirit. Both kind of work in this situation. Hanzo even says, what was that song? Their fighting spirit is giving them power like no other. But it still doesn't seem to be enough for the self-healing zombie Tetsukis. Meanwhile, Amatsure says it doesn't matter what the Shoguns do. He is already transcended. He uses the 10 keys and the Futsu no Mitama, which is a Shinto divine sword to unlock a Mikaboshi. It appears that Bisu of the Tide is made up of nanomachines. He says, revive, another reference to the opening of Gundam. His body is absorbed by the Gundam, which looks like it came out of a portal created by a Tori gate. Out pops the out pops Gundam Sarutahiko. Gundam Sarutahiko is a life form from another planet, but bears the name Gundam. This was outcast from its homeworld and came to Earth to build a new army. This Gundam was stopped by Ninigi and was sealed away during the old era. The people inherited the technology and will of Ninigi. This will absorb Sarutahiko Surya, a satellite giving it limitless powers. Abisu the Tide is now one with this Gundam. They activate the Yata no Kagami, which is one of the 3 imperial regalia of Japan, symbolizing wisdom and truth. They head to the summit of Mount Fuji. Ryuji goes after them while Shidoboshi and Kuroboshi watch Chiyo. It heads to the summit to activate the 36 lights based off of Hokusai's paintings. That is when Ikuruga stabs the Gundam in the back. Seto Tohiko laughs and points up. He mentions Kagatsuchi, which is known as Prometheus in the West. This is the satellite in the sky from the old era. Ikuruga probably should respond by saying, "What's a satellite?" The lights from Mount Fuji gather towards the heavenly sky, which happens to be the satellite weapon. We learn that Rei Amatsu was testing transferring his consciousness into a clone. This is what the Amatsu Institute was trying to make before Amahodo Enji burned the entire place to the ground. Rei Amatsu attacks Kuroboshi. We flash back to the old era where a woman named Chiaki, who looks like Chiyo's mother, Chiharu, is sacrificing themselves for someone that looks like Shidoboshi. They are on a spaceship. In the past, Kuroboshi kept his distance from the Amahodo matriarch because of these dreams he has been having. He eventually tells her about the dreams. She believes that this may have been a past life. Chiharu gives him a star earring as a good luck charm to watch over the Amahodo family. She says she will be there when he is needed. Then we cut straight to Chiharu getting stabbed during the massacre. You had one job. We learn that Chiharu, like Kuroboshi's dreams, sacrificed herself. She says to protect Chiyo before dying in his arms. In the present, Kuroboshi awakens with the second wind. He begins fighting a Matsurei. He slices through a Matsurei, but he regenerates. He then slices off the arm holding the Futsu no Mitama, and his regeneration stops. Kuroboshi tells Chiyo to take the sacred treasure and get out of here. He stabs Matsurei and tackles him into the light of Mount Fuji, sending energy into space. The light explodes, killing both the Matsurei and Kuroboshi, but it doesn't matter. Enough power has already been sent to the satellite. Ryuji tells Kotetsu of the situation when Chiyo and Shidoboshi come in on Kuroboshi's flying Tetsuki. Gundam Seto Tohiko flies into the sky. He is from RX-78, the celestial planet Ruinous. The satellite says that it is true Gundam, and it will be god of this planet. They can't grieve over Kuroboshi. They have to find a way up into space. Shidoboshi says that he could get into space with the help of Kuroboshi's Tetsuki beast, Yatagarasu. In Japanese culture, Yatagarasu is a legendary 3-legged crow that is a messenger of Amaterasu. Both Ryuji and Kotetsu will handle this together. Gundam Burai attaches the Yatagarasu to create a winged form. Garuda is also using the Komaina's sword as well. Kotetsu says he will return to be by Chiyo's side. The 2 Tetsukis fly into the sky. Ryuji goes to help Shuda of Judgment and Tokugo in the Gion. He is still fighting off being consumed by the Onis, but he can't hold off much longer. Shuda and Ikura team up. Kotetsu can see Kuroboshi in the cockpit. He says that he transferred his consciousness into Yatagarasu before dying. Kotetsu heads into space to find that Gundam Seto Tohiko has fused with the satellite weapon. He tells the satellite to shut up and attacks it with his katana. He is fast, but Seto Tohiko is able to block. Kotetsu plans on taking his head. The satellite fires a giant Mega Protocol cannon on the Gundam. Kotetsu does a Mulaflaga. The satellite says, "Hey man, I'm your god, why aren't you listening to me?" He continues to fight back. That is when Gundams appear in Earth's upper atmosphere. They are Gundams from other nations. Gundam Excalibur, Gundam Kabaku, Gundam Alf, and Gundam Sutra. We got England, Scandinavia, China, and India. There were a bunch of people in the comments mentioning that this would be a great opportunity for Turn A to show up, representing whatever vague North America Turn A takes place in. But alas, they don't show Turn A. Many of you were so close to guessing the ending. They all team up to take down Seto Tohiko. Ikuruga and Garuda seems to be the only one left standing against the Gion. The Gundams in space keep cutting off the head of the satellite, but it keeps regenerating. Kuroboshi tells Kotetsu that if he pushes himself any further, he might not make it. But Kotetsu has no intention of putting out this fire. He unleashes the power of the 10 keys. Ikuruga and now Kotetsu have the Futsu no Mitama. Are you keeping up? Yeah, I'm struggling to. Gundam Burai rushes. He loses an arm, but it doesn't slow him down. He then uses the Kisaragi school of unparalleled swordsmanship, the Kisaragi secret technique. At the same time, on Earth, so too does Ryuji use the same technique. Kotetsu says he is going to slice through his soul. This persistence is what makes a samurai. He slices through his Tengu-looking ass soul, while in the real world, he chops off Seto Tohiko's head. He says with this demise, the 2nd and 3rd Gundam will come to destroy them. Kotetsu says they will fight them as well. Seto Tohiko explodes. Kotetsu says he could finally rest. The battle is over. This became known as the Hyaki Yako, which is an idiom for a parade of Onis. Tokugo revealed that he made a secret pact with Amahodo Enjin after learning that the Amatsu Institute comes from a long feud from the old era. The Amahodos were ignored. In exchange, they would keep the Onis at bay. Tokugo officially clears up the Amahodo's shame. Suzura of the Veil opens up relations with foreign nations. You didn't do shit during this manga. There were apparently Abisu of the Tides throughout every nation. Oni still continue popping up occasionally. The newly revived Amahodos now dedicate themselves to fighting Onis. These Tetsuki hunters travel around the world. In the 31st year of the Tempo era, the samurai were able to bring peace. Chiyo shows Kotetsu her book about their stories. This is the Mobile War history from the title! Chiyo looks at her book when something falls from the sky. The princess runs towards the Gundam, creating a shooting star to find Kotetsu is still alive. She hugs him and abuses him at the same time. But Kotetsu tells her that something is coming. He is wearing something that looks closer to a space uniform. He points to the sky and tells Chiyo that a Gundam is being summoned.